so much for coming back and showing up and watching this. I appreciate it, and I do not take your time for granted. I hope life has been treating you kindly, and I hope you've been treating others kindly. I am just squeezing limes for something, for a recipe. So today I'm going to talk about friendships, connections, relationships, and I'm talking about it from the vantage point, not of someone who knows or who has it down, but from the vantage point of someone who thinks it's important, who thinks these are conversations that we need to continue to have. These are things that we need to engage with, and who wants to personally get better, because I have seen so many ways that this is that attempt at multitasking did not work. So now, several moments later, I am dropped that and I'm focusing on this. Trying to see this. So like I said, I've said this before, and I'm never tired of saying thank you for those who have come back, for friends who keep watching this to support me, for new people who joined out of the blues, for people who joined from hearing or being referred from Victoria's channel. Everyone, thank you so much. I really appreciate your presence. I do not take it for granted, and yes, we're still doing this project, we're still on it, so thank you so much. So what I want to talk about today is friendships, relationships, connection, all that good stuff. And I'm not talking about this from the vantage point of someone who has it all down, like who is amazing at this. I'm talking from the vantage point of someone who knows how important this is, and who is interested in getting better at this herself. Who is interested in getting better at this, and I'm just prioritizing this, which is something that I believe is so important, like I already said, especially within the context of adulting. I know most of us, all of us, are adults, and you know how they say that the older you get, the harder it is to make and maintain friendships. I mean, maybe it's not like 100% correct, but there's some truth in that. And also because we will never outgrow the need for community, for relationships, for people in our corner, for support. So these are conversations that I think we need to keep having, that I think is really advantageous for us to continue to have. And so I'm going to talk about it today. I think how I want to start this is to acknowledge that for me personally, and I think this is in some ways quite correct, it's not about how many people we have as friends. It's not about the number, about the quantity. There are some people who thrive with like having a huge number of friends and like a huge network. Perfect. There are people that are extroverted and like they thrive that way. But in my opinion, it's not about how many friends that we have or how many people we have. I think it's about quality. It's about like being intentional about relationships and being intentional about treating people with kindness and being open, just being open to people, not being walled off. And I said this at the beginning, that like this is not even from like the vantage point of, oh, see, I've done this really well and I think I can I think I can offer some insight. It's more like something that is becoming more obvious to me, more and more obvious to me as I grow older, and I'm like, this is really important. This is things that we should we should be talking about. And it came to my mind, like I said, because recently I was just thinking back. I don't know why, I was just being nostalgic, and I remembered how when I lost my first job, when I lost one job sometime in the past. And I'm talking about this now because if you're from Victoria or whoever, whichever you call her, channel, you probably have heard this story sometime before. She mentioned this in one of the videos, just the passing information that she mentioned, like we worked together in the same place and we both lost our jobs at the same time. And I remember when she published that video, I was like, who asked you to say my story for me? Like, now that she said that, it just kind of I don't know, became much more it's something that I've never actually processed or thought about. It just happened. I just moved on and I just kept going with my life. I didn't really like talk about it with people. This is like the first time that I'm actually talking about this aloud. But it came to my mind because when we both lost that job, when we both left that job, the company was restructuring and they were like moving some departments around, so our department kind of got redundant in a way, and so they had to let some people go. So both of us were in the same department at that time. We were doing communications, and so we moved. And so because we left at the same time, we kind of bonded over that. And so we would talk like what's next, stuff like that. And I remember one of the things that we both did together, I think I did it because she was going to do it, or she told me about, I don't know how, I can't remember the story right there, but I remember doing that. It's the Daystar leadership thing. What's it? Academy, I think, DLA. I remember then it was like a week-long program where like it's just about equipping people. All of that. I'll circle back, I promise. It will make sense in a while. So we went to that program or to that academy together with a few of our friends, other friends of hers. Bolaji was one of them, and I think 2 or 3 other girls. They were all her friends. She was the only one I knew. She was my friend as well, so those were not mutual friends, those were her friends. But that's where I got to meet them, and that's where I got to know them. And I can remember that time kind of feeling like they didn't like me or something. And I didn't obsess over it, I promise. So just kind of like a fleeting thought. But we kind of just connected over that. We all went together because we were living at the same site in the same part of the island, and so we would all sometimes get transportation together, just book Uber together and all go together and then come back together, stuff like that. So that's how I got to know them. And so I was going with these girls and we started talking and everything, and that's when I moved from like full-time 9 to 5 to like freelancing. After that conference or after that academy, I kind of like just put myself together. I was like, I'm going to go full-time. I've done some freelancing in the past, but I was like, I'm just going to go fully into freelancing, consulting, that kind of stuff. And my first client, the first person I worked with was referred to me, or was referred to her through Bolaji. The funny thing is that I totally forgot about this since that time. It just suddenly came back to my mind. I'm like, I remember. I don't even know if Bolaji would remember this, and I don't know. But it just suddenly came to my mind that I remember that it was Bolaji that I think told me about like this connection of hers that was looking for something, a service that I could render, and then she was like, maybe I would be interested, and then I reached out, and then it just happened. And that was one of my first retainer kind of clients that I worked with for a long time, and it was steady income while I also like worked with other people, and kind of got me going, like kind of helped me find my feet at that time, that because I had that, and it was a kind of retainer arrangement where it's not like just one project and it's done. It was consistently several projects. I stopped looking for 9 to 5. I grew my confidence in the fact that I can actually freelance. I can I can make a living without going back into actual corporate 9 to 5, that kind of thing. And I don't know why it never like stuck, or it never you know how things just happen sometimes, not because of like how life is, you just move on from there and you just do other things. But recently just came to my mind like that, how that worked out. It was a friend of a friend that we kind of connected, and then she referred me, and then things just happen, like that kind of butterfly effect or that kind of ripple effect, and had me thinking just off the cuff about like relationships, about I don't like the word networking because it has a bad rep now, but just being intentional about the people we meet, about the people that like come into our lives, or that we come into their lives in one way or the other. And I just wanted to talk about it today. All right, I got caught up. So yeah, it was a friend of a friend, right, that helped me find my footing without even, it didn't take anything from her, to just like a passing comment that she made, and then I made that connection, and I was able to find my feet, and I was able to like, you know, get comfortable and find a part of my potential, like just explore part of my potential, grow confidence, make money, and just grow as a person generally. And I just think it's important for us to remember that people are important, and it's not everyone that we come across or that we have something to do that will become like a really important or indispensable part of our lives. That's not what people are for. It doesn't have to, we don't have to pursue relationships with the end goal of an objective, like what with the end goal of what we can get from them. And I'm not even talking about like maybe using people now. You know, sometimes I feel like this is not likely to be like a bestie kind of relationship, or this is not likely going to be a friendship that would maybe endure. But we don't always have to, in my opinion, we don't always have to pursue relationships because of what we can get from it. I think we all can do better with just being open to like expanding our world and meeting more people, and just being kind on a general level, and also accepting kindness, also like being open to kindness, like as we are kind to other people, allowing other people to also be kind to us. So like not all relationships will be tight, but I think every connection that we make is deserving of warmth, is deserving of softness, is deserving of honor, is deserving of just kind of openness to the potential that can bring into our lives. So like if we know that relationships are so important, and like people are such blessings, right? Like what do we do with that knowledge? What do I personally do with that knowledge? I just kind of like to remind myself, or I'm reminding myself now, reminding any other person who is listening, who maybe this resonates with, that I think we can be more, we can step out of our comfort zone more and just reach out and, you know, put ourselves out there. And I say that as someone who finds that very uncomfortable. Especially for introverts. I don't know, I think I'm somewhere between introvert and extrovert, because when I need to, I kind of can live up to the expectations of being social, but my default is to be not social, to be like a homebody, stay at home and just do stuff and things like that. But I know how much of a blessing people can be, and I know that for us to grow our connection, or for me to grow my connection, I have to like be comfortable with the idea of stepping out, of reaching out being important, right? You know, a lot of friendships happen by chance, like you just meet somebody and you just click. Very good, organicness is amazing, but it's not always going to be like that, especially when you are in a season of your life or in a stage of your life where maybe you do not have a lot of opportunities to meet the kind of people that you need at that season. So it might not happen by chance. It might mean that you kind of actively either praying about it, or actively looking at and doing things, taking steps to actually just reach out and you know, try to make it happen. Like I said before, it might not lead to something tight and enduring in that sense, but every connection can be useful in helping us become better people, and helping us be a blessing to other people as well. And also generally as well, like one of the calls to us as Christians is that we should love people. And I always say, and I've heard it said by other people, that love is less of an emotion and more of action, right? So I want to always find practical ways and practical circumstances for me to love people. And if I don't reach out, if I don't step out, like those, it's possible, but it's not likely that, you know, someone will walk through my door for me to get a chance to love them like Jesus does, or for me to get a chance to like show the Jesus type of love to them. So I have to actually reach out. I have to be intentional with relationships, with meeting people, and with loving people, and with just doing stuff that helps me grow. That helps me grow as a love being, and helps me be a blessing to others, and also allow me to receive blessing from others who are also, like, you know, children of God. So yeah, this is more a whimsical video today, because and I really hope that it's a conversation starter for myself, for me with my friends, and for other people who watch this, because that just popped into my head, and it made a connection with me, because it felt like I became friends with this person, and this person kind of helped me be friendly with these other people, and this person helped open a door for me just by one small recommendation, and that door blessed me in such an amazing way, or in such a like significant way. And like, it's people, like the common denominator there is people, is relationships. I'm like, people are a blessing. So as we're chasing achievements and ambition and all the things, we also should chase people and relationships, and be very intentional about making our lives about enriching our lives in that way. And I whenever I say that, I don't want the idea to be like we're just trying to use people for ourselves, right? That's not what people are for. But enriching our lives and also enriching other people's lives, and just these relationships are just important. Another thing that came to my mind as I was thinking about this was the fact that, like, if you have good friends, if you find good people, like, you know, keep them close. And life can get busy. Yes, okay, the memo is me's. Yeah, the memo is for me. Life can get busy, and just, you know, it just happens, and you begin to like just get too busy for the people in your life. I think people are so much more important, and that's a public call to all my friends that have not called me in a long time. Call me. I'm joking, of course. I'm also have the responsibility of like reaching out to people, but yeah, it's something that we should pursue as strongly as we pursue other things, or at least as intentionally as we pursue other things. Because in my native language, Yoruba, they'll say like in your lasho abi, yes, in your lasho me, or stuff like something like that. I'm feeling very old right now with this topic that I'm talking about. I feel like I'm not doing it justice. The way it's in my mind, like the way like it hit me, I'm not able to effectively just communicate that. But I really hope that it gets through in some way to someone what I'm trying to say, like how important like relationships are and friendships are. And it's not just friendships, right? It's just like people, like it doesn't have to be like I have a million friends, so I have to like make a friend out of everybody. It doesn't have to be that. Like, just connection. Like, let every memory that every memory that someone has of you be a good one. Like, it doesn't have to be like we continue to be friends forever or anything, but like let them remember that, oh, I met that person one time and they were kind and they were good and they were helpful, and that's the kind of person I want to be. And by God's grace, that's who I'm working on, and that's the kind of person I really want to be. And maybe that's, if I'm able to live people with anything in this video, it's that like we can actually optimize for that. We can optimize for being that kind of person who is known for warmth, who is known for like just really being good and loving people with the love of Jesus. And if you need a reason to be that kind of person, that reason is that connections are really good. Connections are the building blocks of our lives and can enrich our lives in like more ways than we can even imagine. And that story that I told before is just one small tiny example of a way that relationships and connections can really enrich our lives and open doors and just help us like just grow to become better people, to become better versions of ourselves, and to just attain our potential. People are really important. Another thing that came to my mind like as I was thinking about that is the fact that you know how they say impressions, like first impressions are something. I don't think so. I think like impressions are like fickle. Impressions are not always right, and I've learned this a long time ago. That person that would say give people the opportunity of the doubt, right? Someone might be one way and it's like that person is horrible, and I'm like, maybe they're just having a bad day, or maybe they're just like preoccupied with something and they just didn't even think about it. Because I have been that person. Like people could be having a bad day, people could like be distracted, people could be preoccupied with something. So I've learned over time to like know how to give people the opportunity of the doubt, like to just make excuses for people, right? That first impression nonsense, it's like, it doesn't, I don't believe in it. I don't agree with it, and I think we really should give people more grace, right? And sometimes it's just a difference in like how people see the world, that maybe that person is not a bad person, maybe that person is not being mean or something. So when you meet someone for the first time and it's like they didn't greet me properly, see the way she responded when I said hello, I said hello, she didn't answer me, or maybe she's short-sighted and she doesn't see, or something like that, right? So I just kind of like think that one way to also be intentional about like growing as people ourselves and growing our network and enriching our lives is by giving people grace. Like just extending grace to people. Anything could be the reason why that person you think is a bad person acted bad in that one situation. And sometimes also someone could do something legitimately bad, but we don't want to judge them by just that one instance of their life and then just cancel them because of that. It's possible that someone makes a mistake, and we don't always want to be judged by our worst situations or our worst actions. The person that did something bad yesterday can like turn around and do something amazing tomorrow. They can like grow as people and just become more better people. So like give people chances and chances and chances. Of course, not to put yourself consistently in a toxic situation where you can your own health and your own well-being can be put at risk. But I just feel like we are tending towards being a culture that's become very self-centered and very just very, I don't like to throw certain words around, but nothing else comes to mind right now. Very narcissistic in the sense of like it's just about us, and it's like they did this to me, and so I'm not gonna I'm not gonna talk to that person, or like that person is just kind of snobby or whatever. I don't like label people like that generally, and I think that we shouldn't label people like that. We should keep trying to reach out to people, trying to like just be good to them. Even if you don't build a relationship with them, we can still be good to them. We can be kind to them. We can smile and like be warm to the coldest person. Every time we see them, you know how we tend to be like, she doesn't respond when people greet her, so I'm not going to greet her anymore. No, I don't think we can. I think we can afford to like always be the bigger person. If she doesn't respond when I greet her, I'm just gonna keep greeting her, because greeting her is for me. Like, I'm a happy person, so if I see you, I'll greet you, I'll say hello, and I'll just keep moving on with the rest of my day. So yeah, first impressions, no, sometimes people are just people. But we can be loving, we can be gracious, we can be warm, we can be kind, we can be all the good things. And I think that is also one way to like grow our relationships and just be that kind of person that pulls other people in and that takes care of other people and that's kind to other people and just kind of just radiates kindness. That's the kind of person I want to be anyways. And the last thing that I have on my mind is the center yourself. When I say this, the center yourself, I remember that time, that one, the story I told you before, feeling like, they don't like me. But that was just a fleeting thought, because like, you know, when we're obsessed about like, they don't like me, they think this about me, it's just like me. No, it's not always like, sometimes we just move on from whatever that thought is, wherever those thoughts are, and just leave, right? So we just kept doing and just kept having conversations. I just kept like just showing up and being me, and then it was a good experience. After I was able to move beyond that fleeting thought of like, they don't like me. Well, if I had obsessed about that, I would have probably just withdrawn and become like, you know, just on my own and that kind of thing, and that doesn't serve anyone, right? The relationship was for that time, or that close, like, you know, we're talking all the time, just for that time, and it served its purpose because I wasn't so like fixated on my thoughts about like, do they like me, do they not like me, stuff like that. It doesn't matter sometimes. Just be kind, just be a nice person, and it's not always about us, and then we just kind of love people, move on, and really center our relationships. I think like that's the old moral of all of this long story that I've been saying since. Like, really love people, center, warmth, kindness, optimize for just warmth and kindness and love, the Jesus type of love. And if you're not a people person like some of us, there's grace to just be a kind human. I believe that anyways. All right, that said, I'm taking new friends. I'm trying to grow my human network, so I'm taking new friends. Come on, be my friend, everybody, please, seriously. Thank you so much for your time, for listening, for coming back every time. For those of you that have been coming back, for the new people, like I said, thank you so much. I appreciate your presence here. I appreciate you giving me your audience. It means a whole lot to me, and I'll see you in another video. I did another video. I'm such a child. But every time I get through one of these videos, I just feel so fulfilled, because it's hard. It's really hard for me. I know last time you know, I was like, I don't know why it's hard for you to talk to a camera. I'm like, there's no way that's gonna be like, you know, talk like you. Some of the rest of us, you know, it's hard. Yeah, so every time I get through this, it feels like I just finished a project, and I've not even edited this yet. But I think the editing is easier than the talking. And the funny thing is that I don't have a problem with talking. I teach public speaking to college students. But this is not public speaking. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just different, and it's tasking, it's mentally and emotionally draining. And it's just like, why? I don't know, and I'm trying to figure it out, which is why I'll keep making videos, because I need to figure out why I'm so uncomfortable with you know, talking. I don't have a problem when I'm having conversations. I don't have a problem when I'm like talking to friends or like, you know, people. I don't have a problem when I'm talking in front of class and teaching people. Yeah, I should do a video of like, you know, teaching, so you can see I'm a very good teacher, right? Like I don't, it doesn't faze me to be in front of those students and teach, to do all the things. I interface with people every day, but let me turn on the camera to record a video, and I have to like literally psych myself up. Like, I have so many. That's what maybe some of you have noticed. I have cuts. Like, sometimes I'm just like and then I'm like quiet for the next 3 minutes, trying like come on, do it, you can do it. But I'm doing it, and that feels like such a big deal for me. So at the end of every video, I'm like, whoa, I did another video, that's amazing. Even though, yeah, I'm still trying to get better at this. I mean, it's not top-notch quality, but we're getting there, and we'll keep working on it. We keep working this until, I guess, the road or this discomfort with filming myself or my camera version or everything especially because I feel like it messes with my ability to communicate, right? Because I know what I want to talk about, but then because I'm in front of a camera, I just get really weirded out that I feel like I did not really communicate what I had in mind, like what I actually want to talk about. Like, I'm not sure that the message got across because I was just too much in my own head. But I teach something to students who have what we call speech apprehension or like speech anxiety. And like, it's like exposure therapy. It's like, you know, just the sensitization. You just keep doing the same thing, the thing that like that weirds you out. You just keep doing it and keep doing it until you get to the point where it's like, well, I'm doing it. So that's what I'm doing. And thank you so much. Thank you so very much for coming along, for listening to me, for being an audience for this. I appreciate it. Thank you.